Another Sunday, another case of the Scaries to start work week. Welcome to the newest edition of the Sunday Scaries, where we have all your gore, lore, and more, covering all the latest horror happenings, slicing open all the latest horror news, and dissecting it bit by bit, finding all those juicy innards. Pour yourself a nightcap and turn your fright light while we take you on a tour of terror.
We
And
really
yes,
are on a tour of terror.
technical difficulties, everybody, but we got
Oh,
here.
it's bad. Yeah, no, we're in hell right now.
Fighting for our lives.
Looks like there's a couple people finding this. I can't believe this has been such a pain in the ass the last few weeks.
All the updates, all the fun things.
Well, they have this stupid like, oh, we're gonna do the whole like we're gonna have the vertical version and this, but like because we stream to YouTube, it does that automatically, so it's redundant, and that's why we have two streams. And all I wanted to do was get rid of that, and it said everything was fine. And then the second we try to go live, it's like, oh no, one of these doesn't exist. So there, let's see if
The
that
beauty
helps. At least helps people
technology.
find it. I don't know. I'm
People
not
will
even in
trickle in.
chat right now. So are we back in this chat? Is this one even refreshed?
The one that's happening beside me here.
And we're back.
907, yeah.
Okay, who
Looks like
are
we're good.
you? Hey again, y'all. Okay, yeah. That's sorry, guys. This has been just like a nightmare. I don't know. StreamYard having a ball with it the last couple weeks. So I thought I had that figured out. So if there's another stream that's vertical, I think I'm just gonna have to email them and figure out what the hell I did to make that stick, because I don't want that forever. And yeah. But anyway, how was
We're
your guys' week? What's going on?
Dude.
Uneventful, I think. I worked on a list, but that was it.
Yeah, pretty uneventful. Just another work week.
Adrian, is it cold
Report, man.
down there?
It is not actually. It was
Okay,
like 20
whatever.
degrees today, but yesterday it was 50. So
Oh,
Well,
And
there you go.
then I heard that it was like super cold and 4 inches up there. So
Yeah, it's
4
been
inches.
it's been pretty bad. I know they were chatting about it. I can still see the messages from the previous stream here, because yeah, there were a couple I wanted to hit on. A lot of people were talking about some good stuff. I guess to get this one out of the way, since we were talking about it a little bit before, I know a few of you. I saw Violet's, and I think Gracie said that they watched Wake Up Dead Man. Excellent, definitely. My wife and I checked that out last night. Very good. Enjoyed that a lot. I like all those movies. I would say this one's probably my second favorite of the three so far. First one being the best, in my opinion.
I can't comment. I mean, I love the first Knives Out. I think it's fantastic. I haven't seen the other two, unfortunately, not for lack of trying. I just haven't had the time, and I'm certainly interested. I think the first one, I was so inspired by that film in terms of like writing, just because it is so well done. Daniel Craig in that is so fantastic, and his dialogue is so crisp. So I definitely have to check out the other two. I think I might put that on the watch list this week.
Yeah, no, they're
I
good.
am putting that on my watch list right now.
Yeah, no, definitely worth checking out. I know a few other people in here would agree. They're pretty solid. And I also saw some love for Silent Night, Deadly Night. So happy that a lot of people seem to have gone out and checked that thing out. So I'm hoping to see some good numbers for that coming out of the weekend here.
The numbers should be up, shouldn't they? I haven't.
I think
looked,
the early projections should be, but I like to wait till Monday morning for the actuals, Luke, because
I like the projections, so then I can have the information earlier. Dylan,
you just like to disappoint yourself, huh?
I'm always disappointed, no matter if they're hard numbers or just
Soft numbers.
It's fairy dust.
Medium firm numbers. Looks like it's coming in at number 12. So, doing okay, I guess.
What number are they bringing in? What's the cash? What's the cash value on that one?
Looks like to date totals. Wait, hold on. We want to do date. Oh, that's just daily. Okay. Looks like 1.1 mil on that one. 1.120.
All right.
So that's where they're sitting with that one so far. But again, could be a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, still, I think that that's the beauty of like Cineverse and how they're releasing them is like, you know, it's more, I think, for fans and just for like hardcore fans to go out and see these for 1-2 weekends. And then they go out and, you know, obviously they gotta basically rely on streaming and other platforms. Because I think this one is just like Terrifier. This one will go right to Screambox, I'm pretty sure, like pretty soon after it's
I
been.
would assume so.
I
I
think
don't know what the turnaround for Terrifier 3 was. I don't know if it was a
it was a
little
few
bit of
months,
time.
I'm pretty
Yeah, I
sure.
think so. So yeah, this one will probably be a little bit after the holidays, probably February or something like that. I would expect maybe to see it hit. But I think these films like this, honestly, their shelf life, they're gonna live on through streaming. Is really it's nice to have that initial pop for the fans that want to go see it into the theater, but I think a lot more people are gonna check it out streaming just because it's more convenient. In Silent Night, Deadly Night isn't like it's not a Halloween or a Friday 13th. A lot of horror fans know it, but it's not that marquee name that a lot of people are going to go to the theater to see. But I think that's the beauty of it, honestly,
Mhm.
because it's like it's a smaller property. And Dylan and I talk about it on the channel all the time, where it's like there are so many smaller properties out there that you might not have faith into getting a theatrical release. But when you release them streaming through a streaming horror streaming service, I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah. No, it's gonna live on, I think, for the next few years as being something that again, I think is more positive. I think it's going to bring more people in, whether that's for better or for worse on Silent Night, Deadly Night, because if they continue this and we get, say even a different story but following the same tones and the same thing they established here, I think like overall that'd be awesome. But then at the same time, if they don't do anything, people who like this one are going to be in for a real ride going backwards. Like just going into like 3 and 4 and just being like, geez, like this is quite a franchise. I mean, even 5 to some degree, I think like you show that to just a an everyday person, I feel like they're gonna have some issues with it.
Oh, guaranteed. It's a certainly particular taste. That even 5 for me, I talk about, seeing Malignant kind of altering my tastes with horror. And I think, prior to seeing Malignant, I don't know if I would have found any fun with Silent Night Deadly Night Part 5 because it is really steeped in it. It's a horror story. It doesn't pull its punches. It owns what it is. But, there is a particular audience for that one. Not a big general audience is going to find a lot of love for Pino. But
I think our audience is the perfect audience for Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, but I don't know if I would show this one to like my mother-in-law or anybody. Like I think they'd have some questions, especially with things like Pino. Thank you, Silhouetted, for the $10. We appreciate it, sir. Just watched the worst horror film ever in my life. Those are big words. 5 Across the Eyes, 2006. The main threat is a Karen who gets big mad her car gets bumped and a chick sneezes slime and throws it out the window. That movie is filmed in total blurry darkness and a lot of annoying screaming and nothing happens for 90 minutes. Well, geez, that sucks. I always hate that. I always find a mid 2000s. It's right around there, the 2004, 5, 6. It's like a cursed time, I think, for movies in some degree, because like there's a movie I'm pretty sure came out around that time, but it's called Spiked, I think, or Splinter. It's not. There's 2 different movies here. One of them I hear is pretty good. The other one, I don't know what it is. I woke up one morning and funny enough, my mother-in-law was watching that. I had just like graduated high school, everything. I woke up, went out to the living room. She's watching that, and I just started watching it. And like, I don't know, man, it was just a movie that just made me disgusted. It was just like one of those really low budget, just like kind of weird fantasy horror films that's like kind of almost like adults playing as like fairy tale creatures and stuff. It's like it was very strange, and it was kind of dipping between like reality and not, like almost like they're trying to do Pan's Labyrinth, but for like $5 and a stick of gum. I'm gonna have to try to figure out what it's called to properly get it in there. I think it's called Spiked.
Yeah, I
But
just looked it up. Does it have oh, you probably got it already now.
oh no, you keep going.
Hold on now. With the murder of a migrant worker shakes a southwest border town to its core.
No, no,
No?
no.
Okay.
That's something
Not
else.
it.
Okay, this movie is called Spike. I think that's this one. Let's see, because there's one I want to. Oh, Splinter is the other one. Splinter is like this body horror movie that people keep telling me to watch, and I keep getting these 2 confused because I think they came out around the same time. So I have to take some back. This came out in 2008, but it's called Spike. Yeah, let me. Here's the Wikipedia. Through a series of dreamlike images, a girl and her 3 friends find themselves stranded in a dark, surrealistic forest by someone or something who has obsessively loved, watched, and waited for this girl ever since her childhood. And yeah, it's real like animals, like he's like an animal man trying to like, fool around with her, and it's just very, very strange kind of movie. It's just one of those things where I don't know if it was just because I woke up or whatever, but like and just kind of hopped into it, but like I don't know, that movie just fucked me up. I did not like it.
You weren't prepared
Yeah.
for it.
Mm-mm.
It sounds pretty nasty, dude. Sounds like furries or animorphs, like that one book I used to see on the shelf all the time in school, man.
Animorphs, yeah.
Animorphs. They had
Everybody's
they had a
nightmare.
brief run for a TV show on Nickelodeon, I believe.
Did
Did
they?
they?
Yeah, I think it was one season.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, it's like I remember the books. That was all I remember. I
Yeah.
don't even think they.
The books coincided, I think, with the release of the TV series, and the TV series got canceled.
Oh, so the books and the TV series like were together. So the
I
TV's
I
okay.
think so. I had never heard of Animorphs until the TV show, and then the book started popping up in my library, and I was like, oh, I know that from Nickelodeon.
Dude, I had no idea this existed. I kind of want to watch it now.
Heck yeah. Oh, look. Hey, Dylan, Luke, Adrian, I got some theories and some stuff to clarify about the Scream movie in general. So is 7. Oh, hell yeah. Well, we're going to be getting into that here in just a little bit after we, I guess, just kind of finish up with the current events, things like that. We like to take our time here
Peruse.
before we get in there. Obviously, I don't know. We just kind of tend to just chat and chat and chat, and then we'll talk some more. But I do think we have quite a bit of news. Like Luke and I, between each other, have quite a smorgasbord of stories. I don't think I can talk tonight,
That's
but
okay.
there's a lot of good stuff in here that we were sending back and forth to each other. Some smaller stories, so there's going to be maybe more headlines, but there's definitely some good stuff on the horizon here, guys. Like there's a lot of really fun films coming up that just like sound great. I like the directors that are involved with some of these. Like it's going to be awesome. Let's see. Sounds like Dylan is describing a French film called Mariquettes, or what is it?
Marquee.
Marquise, from 1988, 1989, which has some not safe for work costume work in it with freaky animal masks. I'm working off of one watch from like, this is probably like 2015, 2016. So like, I'm like 10 years removed. It's just one of those movies that just like, it just put me in a mood. The rest of the day, I was like, no, like, I don't know, dude. Just like, it just was like the couple of scenes I watched, I was just very uncomfortable with it. And I don't know, to this day, I've never had like a movie that, like, I think maybe it's because I wasn't expecting it to hit me like that it just like sticks in my brain. Because like, fairly enough, I should probably just go back and watch it and see if it's even worth it. Maybe I was just tripping or something that morning. I don't know.
Actually, what you're describing is not even a film. I actually snuck into Dylan's room dressed as a giant cat, and he was half asleep, so it was me purring.
Funny enough, this would be around the time that we had just started working together. So we probably would have been coworkers for about a month. So
There we go. Got to start off strong.
oh man,
Makes me want to dress in my swiper onesie again.
Not on the stream though. Definitely will not play it. We're good, Silhouetted. We don't have to watch that one on the stream. Well, we do have again, reminder, I know we talked a little bit about it last week. We're getting the final day figured out here. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have answers from the couple of guests we want to bring on. But we should have the final day and date for the Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 5 stream. So we will have that here, I think within the next week or so. I gave them a couple of dates for basically end of this upcoming week, and then of course the week of Christmas, but I would rather not do the week of Christmas since I consider everybody's probably got a lot going on. So if I can at least get a couple of these guys to agree and get on board, then I think we'll definitely have some fun there. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, it'll be fun with Pinot, as we already talked a little bit about it. I'm eager for my next watch of Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 5.
Yeah, and I have not watched it since we did that watch along, so it's been about 3 years. So
I watched it shortly after that because my wife had watched all of them.
Oh yeah, that's right.
With me all the way up till 5, and then I had to watch 5 by myself, and then shortly after that, because I had told her about the fever dream that is Pinot, and we had to watch it shortly after that. So I haven't seen it.
Yeah, Adrian, I'm excited for you to find out who Pino is. He's an interesting fella.
Me too. I love that name.
I think Hoblown there. I don't know if I want to have that there. I'm gonna delete that comment. Not anything against you, man. I just don't want to outright drop that. I think that's still a pretty unknown spoiler for some people since the episode's airing right now. It was just a welcome to Derry, so sorry about that. I just didn't want to leave that in there just because it talks about a specific character that some stuff's going on with. And I know there's some of us who haven't finished it yet, some people, so we'll do that. But yeah, let's see. I gotta get all this crap off my screen. I am definitely looking forward to the next couple of weeks as far as just like channel content wise. And then I think one of the things before we hop right into it is I think we got to start rounding up here, Luke, and I think everybody else in chat, if you're curious, everybody's going to start putting together their best of the year list here soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've already seen a couple people drop like most disappointing movie, all that. No, you're fine, Erica. Don't worry, it happens. I just caught it. So, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I'm definitely it's getting daunting, man. Like there's still so much I've added to this list, and I'm just looking back on it, and I got so many movies to go through that I genuinely feel like I really love enough to consider. I can say this is definitely not as stacked as like maybe 2 years ago, but like this is pretty stacked. Like this is pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my list of films I have not seen just yet is ever growing, way bigger than I anticipated. So I have my list as I do it going through in terms of as we see something, what I'm feeling, my initial thoughts at that time, so I can kind of keep them in order. But that's where it's like that top 10, that top 12 that I have right now, I do have to go and rewatch and probably rework some numbers. But then the big thing is there's a handful of films that seem to be of top quality that I've heard that I just haven't got around to checking out yet.
Yeah,
So.
there's a couple of blind spots I want to try to fill out myself, but yeah, it's like sometimes I think you just gotta live and let die and just revisit things later on. You know, like
Yeah,
there's definitely been movies where it's like I've missed them and then gone back to it. Like Watcher, for one, for you, I know like this time of year is very precious with that because that literally, I know you talked about it on your list, but it's one of those things where it's like that really set you back because you were like that was what, number 3
I think
of
it
that
was.
year.
I think it showed up at 6, maybe.
6?
Uh,
Okay, I thought it was a little higher, but like, yeah,
yeah.
it's just one of those ones where it came out of left
Well,
field.
that year was so strong. I mean, we talk about it every year strong, but that one was like it was. I had everything set, and then I was like, and then I just had to check a couple of boxes, and Watcher was not even something I had anticipated, and then I threw it on and was like, okay, now this is easily in my top 10. Where is it going to be? And I remember having it sit there for a minute and trying to figure out exactly where I was going to place it, because now probably to look back upon rewatches, it would probably be a lot higher than that, because that one is. I just rewatched it for that list, and I was like, my gosh. I was trying to find like the creepiness factor to it, and it was like as soon as I turned it on, it's just an absolute creep factor.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely one I enjoyed getting around to that one and getting that one watched. I think last year I finally watched that one. But it's a good flick with some creepy stuff. It's a good list and definitely enjoyed that. Seems
I
like a
still
lot
have
more
to
people
see.
are.
I still have to see Presence. I haven't checked
Yeah,
on that
same
yet, and
here.
I
That
know
was one I haven't
that's
seen.
one that I want to make it a point before I confirm my top 10. I definitely have to check that one out.
I also remember I saw Godzilla -1 on New Year's Eve 2023 and was like, oh, okay, so that was the best movie of the year. That was a good one. That was another one that was late in the game. It's like that. Then last year was like Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Shoot.
There's
I mean,
always one straggler, it seems like, in December that um messes with your top 10, because yeah, Nosferatu was a late addition, and then
Frankenstein was a little earlier this year, but still kind of late
I
to
feel
the
like
party, you know?
that was meant to be the one that was gonna make me rework numbers, and I was like, I'm surprised that's not a December release, because that would have been the one.
Yeah, it's that Sinners, Weapons, The Long Walk is up there for me still. Like, I mean, there's so many that I gotta like rework and figure out before this, but like I think you know, knowing us, we're gonna have to sit down like next week and
I
record
know.
this if we want to get it up in time. So it's like that's one of those things where it's like, man, I'm gonna have to start making some decisions because I know every year it seems like we do that, and by the end of our conversations, I already hate my list. So it's
Yep.
like I'm just like, ah, well, I should have done this different, but whatever, whatever. Adrian, this year, you think with we could get you on board? Could you watch enough horror movies to make a top 10 for 2026?
Every time you give me a direct, hey, you got to watch this, dude, I can't pass it up. I've also been looking up all these movies you guys have been listening off, and I got some I want to catch up on for sure. I'd be
Yeah,
down to get my own top 10 going.
there's definitely a lot there worth wanting. Running Man is not anything like the book. I don't know. That was one I still want to see, but like I'm just so shocked that this is one of those things where it's like is it really as bad as people say? Has anybody seen it? Because like I
I
feel
haven't
like
seen it yet.
I've heard so many bad things about it, and like so many of them start out with just like I can't believe Edgar Wright made a bad movie. And it's just like, Jesus, is it really that bad? Because it didn't look bad from the trailer, but like it is gone. Like I don't even think that thing's even at the theater anymore. Like at this point, I feel like it's just tapering off.
Well, and I don't know necessarily if all these films that have a short shelf life, unless you're like Zootopia, which is going to probably be in the theater for a very long time. But it's like The Running Man. I don't know. Maybe people had a
Thank you.
higher expectation, or maybe they are just saying on the bar that Edgar Wright has set that it's a bad movie in that conversation, not if another director had done it, because I'm excited to see it still. I haven't seen it. I heard at least coming out of um those initial viewings of it that it was like, oh, it's pretty good. It's not great, but it's
Yeah, and then it just seems like now it's everybody hates it. Like it's the
yeah.
worst movie ever. So like I don't even know where to sit with it. Uh and it's like I'm just kind of, I'm skeptical, but I do want to consider it because like I might really like it. I love Edgar Wright. I like all the actors. Everybody there, seems good. Like you just said, a lot of people I know either said it's terrible or it's not the worst thing ever. But now it just seems like everything I hear about, even from people who are watching it weeks after it came out, saying it's awful. And I don't know. I'm just really twisted up about that one.
I enjoyed the trailer for it. I thought it looked interesting. So I'm going to give it a watch before the end of the year. I don't think it's going to be in my top 10. I never anticipated it to be in my top
True.
10 or to be a conversation piece. I
I
don't
always
think.
I can't count out Edgar Wright. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
the only thing that made me have that hot button of like it could be in the top 10 because like his movies like are so good and so original and so many different like avenues they go. Like Baby Driver, I was excited for, but like even I didn't expect to love it as much
Like
as I did.
Last Night in Soho is like
Yeah, great,
so
fantastic horror
tremendous.
movie.
I
And I
love
saw that one
rewatching it.
so late. I was so late to the game on that one. I told myself the next Edgar Wright movie I was going to go see in theaters, and what do you know? I didn't do it. So I'm a dipshit. I don't know. It's my fault, guys. I'm the main character. I have main character syndrome. If I don't go to the movies and support it, it does bad at the box office. Them's is the facts.
It's a direct link. We could see a correlation. There have been studies done on this.
And that's why I am going to go see Avatar 3 times opening weekend so that it makes $3 billion. So it's like, I want to keep the James Cameron supremacy of the box office going.
And he will never do anything else but Avatar.
Yep. That's all he's got anymore. It sounds like he wants to do some other stuff now. It seems like they're thinking about taking a break, which, hey, if this one is as good as people say is like a nice ending spot for now, I say why not? You know what I mean? Just take a like 10-year break and come back again. We already waited 13 for 2, so and you're talking to somebody who actually likes these movies, so
I haven't seen them, so I know of them.
I am saving your comments there, Wrestling God, just giving you the heads up. So we will circle back to those as soon as we hop in there. I've not seen Ugly Stepsister. Is it that great? It's very good. It's definitely one that's I need to rewatch. It's on my actual like revisit list because like I feel like we were just so bombarded with movies when we saw it earlier this year that like even our review, we get comments of people like, why are you guys being so vague about it? But like I think we were just so tuckered out by that because we were really like that was right about the time we decided that we're gonna have to move to full time. So like I think we were starting to like get real spacey because I watched that after getting a few comments and I was just like, yeah, we didn't really get very in detail. We were just kind of like, oh, we don't want to spoil too much, but like you could tell we were just out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fine line between doing spoiler-free things, though,
Yeah.
in terms of what do you say and what you don't say. Because we've certainly got comments to be like, oh, if we allude to a sequel, like, oh, so the character doesn't die, and it's like, wait a second, we're saying hypothetically about this, so it's like it's always that fine line of how deep do you go.
True.
You know what I'm talking
Very
about.
true. What up, Gannon? Welcome, welcome. Good Boy was my favorite of the year. That's awesome, Violet. Yeah, Good Boy
Wow.
was great. I
Very wholesome selection.
certainly enjoyed Good Boy. Yeah, you watched that one, didn't you, Adrian?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that movie is cute. I like
I
that a
wouldn't,
lot.
I wouldn't put it on my top 10, but
Mhm.
I do agree it was a really good, just beautiful little piece.
Yeah, it's like one that I wouldn't say is going to crack my top 10 either, but it is one that I do plan on revisiting, especially in early October. It's a nice little wholesome ghost story, but it's a very somber kind of movie, you know. It's definitely one that you got to prepare yourself for because it's a little bit of a tearjerker once you get all the points out there and you realize what's actually going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are so obsessed with is the dog going to die or not, and that was really the
Mhm.
the big talking point for that film. It's a great film. It's an emotional film, especially for any animal lover, not just a dog lover, where going through that relationship you have with whoever your favorite animal is, and the kind of story that they decide to tell there. It's like I wouldn't be on my top 10. It's not on my top 10, but it is like if we were able to do strictly like independent, smaller films, I think it would be in my top 10 or just unique concepts in general. It has a lot to offer. I can see people, I know in our review, some people weren't really happy with that film just because it gave us something way more sentimental and emotional than I think, it was just going to be this dog seeing apparitions and trying
Mhm.
to fight him like that. It was like it's a way different story than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I'm glad that the marketing kind of put that out in front too, because like when we first heard that pitch, yeah, it does kind of seem like, is it going to be a dog protecting his owner from ghosts? Like, how is this working? And like, I went in there with the anticipation of that, and like, it's very different animal, no pun intended. Da, 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 da. All right. Well, I think we've held up quite a bit. What's going on? Welcome, welcome, Killian, Texas. Thank you for joining us there. Um, and then there was one more I haven't seen. I thought I skipped it over. Oh well. Why don't we hop into the stories for today? And I think we should probably start with. You want to just dive into the Scream stuff now?
Sure, yeah, we can go that route with it if I can find my page. I thought I just had it up here.
Mine does not look like it has Scream.
Correct. I did not put it on the rundown
Oh
because
yeah.
we had not had anything set, but I know the brief notes of it, so it doesn't really matter. But okay, let's get into Scream 7. So
Yep.
Skeet Ulrich had come out and said, he doesn't know anything that is going on with the newest Scream film, but the initial plan when he did get into Scream 5 and when they kind of laid out the story arc is that what was her name? Sam? Sam
Yep.
was
Sam
going to,
Carpenter.
the idea being her seeing her father's ghost, that she would eventually become Ghostface. And that was going to be the initial trajectory of her character. Now, obviously, that's not going to be happening. Everything has switched around and we're going back to Sidney Prescott. And I think, people had always hypothesized that maybe that was going to be the route they were going to go down. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I think that would have been such an odd angle. I think because we're so emotionally invested in the character, especially what we've seen with Scream. And I'm not necessarily against it, as we always talk about. You have to do something different with the franchise, but I don't know necessarily if that was the route to take it, just because we would have been so invested with the same character, with the sisters in general. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that would have really worked out.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, like
I
my
can.
screen's blacked out, like over here.
Oh
Like I
my
don't know what the hell's
gosh.
going on. I opened
You
up
got
that dev.
loose
Can you
HDMI cable.
can you see us?
I can,
Okay.
yeah. My like my friggin' backdrop is just like my background is gone. It's all blank. But
Hmm.
oh well. Are we still alive in the chat? Is everybody still here? I don't know. This has
Yep,
just been a
everything's
nightmare
good.
of a stream. Okay.
Dude, it's gonna
But
be like the Skype horror movie, dude.
I
One of us
know
is gonna wind up missing after this stream.
I'm
We're
just
just
so
gonna have like a
confused.
fourth box open up. It's like unfriended.
Yep. Okay, cool. We're there. All right. But all right. Well, let's just hop back into this. I'm not gonna pull it up because I literally tried to pull up the Deadline article. It
No,
had a
you're good.
pop up and then it
I
was
have
like
it up in
whatever.
front of me, so
Yeah,
no.
as although like, I think that was one of the things that we kind of criticized a little bit about Scream was that it seemed like they were heading in that direction and almost that it was going to be like this, hey, they're basically alluding to it so hard, but at the same time they never like commit with it like in the way that I think they should have. Cause like really I was talking to Adrian about it a little bit before, and I don't know if it was in that article or if it was in one of the articles kind of pitching the idea of her almost being like this anti Ghostface in a sense, where she like infiltrate by like the third film, she's infiltrating like these little cult groups of people who might be, maybe not. She's trying to figure out like, who's planning this, who's moving forward kind of thing. And I was like, I mean, it's interesting, it's different. But like then I feel like we're getting into a completely different franchise. But I think like if anything, it's better than just spoilers for Scream 6 and 5. It's your boyfriend and it's your boyfriend's family. Like we've done that a couple times.
Yeah, that's what I don't know what you do to bring some originality to the Scream franchise, or I don't know. Does everyone want a different story, or do we? It seems like people were pretty happy with 5 and 6, where it was like, same formula. We're just plugging in different, villains to an extent. Where this one, I don't know what I would have wanted out of Scream because I like the idea of where they just this basic story of like a who done it, but I think it does get formulaic, and maybe you just need to bring a difference in terms of, like you said, Dylan, that's your boyfriend or your boyfriend's parents, to do something like how Bloodlines did it, where they altered the story just enough to make it feel original, but stayed true to the whole
Mhm.
concept in general. Now, it's like, I think maybe cultivating Sam as this would-be killer eventually down the line, or doing something like infiltrating Ghostface to become this anti-hero, I don't know if that would have felt like Scream to me anymore. If it would have just been such a strong departure and I'd been like, I don't know, this doesn't feel like a Scream film. I think the narrative's pretty decent, but it doesn't feel like a Scream film to me. That's where it's like I kind of get into this tug of war where I want something different from Scream, but I don't know what I want from Scream, because it's like I don't want a strong departure, but I do want something unique. And it's like the only thing I can do is point the Bloodlines and say, you see how they did that there? That's what I want. Just bring that over to Scream, whatever that means.
Yeah. I think like overall it's one of those things where it's like I'm also caught in that same spot where it's like, yeah, I want something different for this franchise, but it's like it's such a delicate balance that I feel like ever since Wes Craven passed away, I don't know if I necessarily really understood how delicate of a balance he had it, because like I don't even think he nailed it every time. But I think like looking at where the first film and to me 4, which I think is the second best, it's like you can really see like where they were able to find those pockets of like convincing, even if they're not like original, like, oh, it's, her cousin or whatever in 4. It's like I still feel like there was enough character, there was enough of that DNA there. And it's like, I don't know, I just feel like 5 and 6, like they just feel so much like, hey, we're doing Scream, but like, we're doing like the modern version of Scream. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like we feel like we're doing all the modern tropes, but we're not making fun of them. We're just using them. And I don't know. It's tough. I have a very tough relationship with this franchise. So hearing this original idea, it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe the new Scream 7 going in this direction, it might do what we're looking for. It might shake things up. I don't know. It seems kind of out there, but the thing I'm really hoping for, and I know our buddy Jake is kind of saying this is what he thinks might be happening, and I'm also with him. I hope this doesn't happen, is that he's worried that all of these like comebacks, these actors who are coming back, it's all just going to be for some AI voice changer. And that's how they're going to torment Sydney. And I'm like, this is going to be terrible if that's the route they go. I'm like that. Oh my God, no. Like we've already done that. We didn't even need AI, like.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm preparing to be underwhelmed, unfortunately, with Scream 7 and everything where it's like, oh, it could just be a flashback. It could be this. I I'm hoping we get something with Matthew Lillard front and center, but and I know the buildup has been there, the anticipation's been there for years to bring Stu back, and it's like I know that's what we all want, and it could be really exciting, but I could easily see this being a flashback, and we have these uh the characters from the original just briefly in there. But then Skeet Ulrich said he's not even involved in Scream 7 now. Who knows if that's true or
He
not?
could
But
be playing coy.
yeah,
I mean, we
so
had the whole after Spider-Man, we know I mean, we've known this forever. Actors lie to us. We know that. Like that's they said they weren't in the damn Spider-Man movie and they were there and they ruined it.
but,
I'm
that could
kidding.
be
That's
it could be a whole thing that, yeah, his image is in it, but he's not in it. You
right.
know what I
That's what
mean? Where
I'm
it's like,
thinking. It's like,
so maybe he just never actually showed up to set. Maybe we didn't need anything from him other than a license to use his image in some aspect, which could just be a flashback or something. So I don't know if that's the route they're going to go in, but as we started kind of uncovering how many returning characters there were going to be, it started kind of you start kind of connecting those dots. It makes more sense for this to be a flashback or something rather than in real time and adding Stu back into the story or some of these other characters back into the story, whatever they're going to do. So I could easily see that, unfortunately, being just a flashback scene. But when we go into like something like Scream 6, where they didn't deviate from the formula, but at least the first half of it, where they said it was going to be a little gradier, it does have that emotion to it to an extent. I think I like that aspect of it. Certainly, the opening I think was really strong too. It
yeah.
got me really excited, and then when you fall back into the formula that we're used to, I think that's where it kind of just felt so deflated. Where it's like I've built us up, and I was really invested in, it, especially coming out of Scream 5 and not being overly thrilled because that one is more paint by numbers. It really
That
did feel
one's
like
very safe. And I understand like they're going for the requel thing. So it's like I get why they're doing that. I think like just there was just not enough, I think, meat on the bone as far as fresh stuff there. As to where 6, you're right. Like it starts off very strong, and I would say most of that movie is very strong. I just don't love the reveal. I feel like the reveal just deflates everything. Like there's so much intensity. I love the subway sequence. It's so great. That whole build up with all the multiple ghost faces because it's Halloween. Brilliant stuff. Love it. Very tense.
and that's where it's like when we talk about we don't know what we want from Scream, but like I would have been happy with that film if the unveiling was better, if the connective tissue wasn't just boyfriend's family, whatever you want to do, and those familiar tones that we've seen. Like if you built that film around something and then paid it off as I'll again point to Bloodlines, where it's like he he's not part of the family. Like that was like, oh, he's not in line with it. And I love that aspect of it. Well, it was minor, but it was something really interesting and an idea we never played with. Where it's like if you would have found something, just a grain for Scream 6 to not get the very formulaic route that we got toward the end of it, I think that would have been a way more interesting film. And that's where it's like Scream 7. I think you have to do something that is going to feel unique, bringing Sidney Prescott back, and I hope it's. I don't know what you can do, but I don't think you can play it safe in Scream 7.
No, I think that's what the big thing this movie's got to do is it's got to really have some stakes and really throw some punches, which sucks for the marketing because basically I watched the Scream 7 trailer and I'm like, well, this seems very similar to the last two in the sense of just the messaging of just like, oh, we're gonna burn it all down. It's all coming to the It's like, all right, but like you can see they're using shades of 5 in there. It seems like I don't know if they're gonna reference 6 at all. Like I'm so confused on where this is, but I think like at the same time, there's also this kind of uncertainty with this where it's exciting again, at least where it's like we could walk in and really love this. I'm not expecting to, but it could be really interesting. And again, I don't know. It just with this whole pitch to the original trilogy, it's like I feel like the original, like the last trilogy here, especially with 5 and 6, I feel like they were treating it in the same way that they a lot of how Disney treated the last Star Wars trilogy, where it was just kind of like they're very clearly just writing these as they go. They don't have some grand vision. And I'm sorry, like some people may have said, oh yeah, they were definitely building up Sam Carpenter. They were so wishy-washy with that in the second film. We had no clue where they wanted to leave with, it's like it, I just don't know. Like they should have made a commitment from the start. Like by the end of the first movie, we should have had more inkling than just, oh, she stabbed somebody a lot, that like, oh, she's gonna be the villain or she's gonna be kind of going dark side or whatever.
Yeah, I never really got exactly what we were trying to get out of in terms of messaging with that. It was like, because at times it felt like they wanted to do it, and then it felt like they were a little hesitant with it and started pulling their punches a bit. So even after we got out of Scream 6, I wasn't really sure what messaging I was supposed to take from that. So I could see them trying to plant those seeds, but then as you know, with Scream 5 and then getting to Scream 6 and saying, well, do we or don't we? Or do we just kind of continue what we've already built and kind of have our new Sidney Prescott here and just kind of go that route with it and try to get, I mean, because they always produce at the box office. So it's like, how much
True.
mileage can
Yeah.
you get out of it? So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Scream 7. I hope it's not just a big nothing burger. I hope it's
Yeah.
like, I hope they actually do something that we walk out and say, well, at least they did this and at least they tried here. And it just isn't same old that we've seen with a lot of the Scream films. But now I'm a Scream fan. I love the first 4. I mean,
Yeah,
varying
it's
in
like
quality, certainly, but it's like I find them enjoyable. I can rewatch all those ones.
we say a lot of this, and I feel like we get a lot of hate when we talk about Scream because we're not thrilled with these new ones. But like, believe me, guys, we say this as fans of the original films. Like, even though I put 1 and 4 on a pedestal above those others, it's like, yeah, I still watch them all. Like, it's like I still watch 3 and 2, and I still enjoy them to some degree. But like, I just got to be honest in my thoughts and feelings. Like, they just haven't worked for me, and I'm happy that they work for a lot of people. Like, I mean, I think Luke and I have said that a number of times, that like, if these last 2 Scream movies are everything you guys have wanted from it, then great. I'm glad. Like, it's definitely a franchise that has a very dedicated hardcore fan base, or it's a film that has a very dedicated hardcore fan base. So I get it, but I just think, like, at the end of the day, we really, if this is going to work for us, there needs to be some level of commitment and some level of stakes moving forward, where it's like, we know if we're going to do another one, or if this 7 is going to be like, hey, we're going to really punch you in the teeth and call it a day. Cause like, I don't think that's such a bad thing. It's like, everybody loves this, but like, we could really officially move the Scream franchise beyond, the Sidney Prescott like crew. But I think the problem is like, starting off 5 with the commitment of bringing them all back, doing the legacy sequel, it just puts you in the same predicament every other franchise is in right now, where it's like, we have the old characters, we have some new characters, we tell the exact same stories over and over again. And it's like, I think, like, after this one, let's make some things final, and then let's just say, yeah, we move forward, and there's other killers imitating Ghostface. Like, he's so huge, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that would be the right direction to go in. When we had seen Scream 5, I was like, walking out of that, I was like, I wanted something like going forward would be like how you're inspired from Ghostface and almost taking like a 7 aspect to it, a much darker route to it with an actual killer using the imagery of Ghostface. And I think that could be an interesting route to go, just to go real dark with it. I know that Scream 6 tried to a certain extent, but then again, it gets formulaic by the end of it. But it's like, I think you can really bring a dark tone to Scream and just see what you get, even if it's not even, if it's in the universe and you don't call it Scream, or I don't know where they would go, where they feel comfortable doing that, because you do get in that tough spot of people go to see a Scream film because they want it to feel like a Scream film. So a lot of people who aren't like invested in the horror space 365 days a year are just like, oh, there's a new Scream film out. So I'm hoping, I going in for my Ghostface killer. And then by the end of it, I'm going to see who I can try to pick out of the lineup was in, it's like a Scooby-Doo unveiling, like that type of aspect to it. So it's like, I understand that you kind of want to stay formulaic with it, but I think you can get really risky with it, and you can play with the formula. You can at least tweak it, at least to a small extent, to kind of please both sides.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's just hard. It's difficult. But we'll get off our soapbox for a little bit, because it's just been you and me going back and forth about our woes and pains and pissing and moaning about Scream. So let's see what everybody else has to say. And then Adrian, have you even seen the Scream movies? Okay, good.
No, that's an elusive one for me.
All right, so then
You haven't seen any
the
of
next
them?
story, the next story will
No.
be a big one.
Oh, interesting.
Oh yeah.
Actually, Hey, I was just bitching about this franchise, but guys, you don't have to twist my arm if we want to do a couple of weeks, maybe do two a week watch along. Not watch along, but like series like we did with VHS, where we could review each one so Adrian can watch them leading up to Scream 7. Because what is that, February 26th? So we
Is
got
it?
a
That would
couple
be
months.
fun.
Is
I'd
it
be down
February
with
or
that.
January?
I thought it was February.
I don't
Let me
know.
see.
I have no clue. I know it's beginning of the year, but I don't know what month it is.
Yeah. Because we'll probably get to see that one early because that one's on Universal, so they usually take care of us. Universal, one of the best studios as a content creator, I can say, is not necessarily with the copyright stuff, but they will always get you to see their movies. It just turns out that like 1 out of every 5 movies is pretty good. That's the only problem with their horror movies. Let's see. Scream 7 2026. Okay, yeah, I know. I get that. 27th, February 27th.
There we
So,
go. Oh man, we gotta wait a little bit.
yeah, that's okay. I'm good. That gives us time. That gives us time here. Yep. Watch parties, Discord, don't mind to stream. Okay. We could definitely do that. Yeah, I think maybe like we could watch like the big ones, like the ones we really like. We could do like one, like we could do maybe a watch party thing with that live watch with Adrian, get his raw reaction to that.
Sure, let's do it.
That'd be fun because, like,
I'm
yeah, I
down.
think that'd be cool. And then, like, the other ones we'll just review. Maybe we'll do like 5 or something to get his reaction again, because like that'll be kind of like the introduction to the new ones. So then we could critique it live. We can get back on our soapbox.
There we go. That works for me. I'm totally down. I haven't
It's
rewatched them in a minute.
I know I
Totally.
haven't watched. I've watched 6 recently because Haley rewatched it. What's up, Adrian?
I said I'm totally down too.
Hell
That
yeah,
sound- Hey guys, I got a perfect stew masher
mocker.
theory. What if his motivation for 7 is trying to bring back the fear and uncertainty that Ghostface hasn't had since the first movie for a long time?
Oh, I mean that would be ideal. I think like that's what we would hope if they wanted to bring him back. I just think I don't know. Do you feel like they kind of I don't you have never been crazy about that, have you? About Stu coming back?
I don't know necessarily if you have to rehash things.
Yeah,
I'm not. I love Matthew Lillard, so you're not.
exactly. That's kind of
I'm
where
not
I'm
gonna
at.
put up a fuss if Matthew Lillard shows up, to be honest. But it was always such a layup. It was always the commentary: bring Stu back. We don't know what happens to Stu. I always felt like we got a definitive end. He got a TV
Absolutely.
dropped on his face.
But hey,
But like and I'll say biggest missed opportunity to bring like right now if they bring Stu back in Scream 7, it's like okay, I think you missed the window. I'll still be happy to see him 100%. I'm not gonna say I'm not, but like I think Scream 6 was a perfect setup where you could have, if you would have tweaked that story, he could have been in jail and he could have been influencing everybody and just been like this guy that how we talk about on here where it's like people become obsessed with Jeffrey Dahmer or Ted
exactly,
Bundy, where it's
bro.
like he could have been in the jail, people could have been coming to visit him, the son could have been the son of a police officer, so he got him a visit, whatever, and he could have influenced him from there. Dad not knowing went that route with him. We could have got really dark with it. And he could have had this cult of all these people coming to visit him, and Stu was pulling the strings from inside the jail. At the end of Scream 6, he gets out. Scream 7, it's a layup. Perfect. He's on the run, all this stuff. And it was like, you see that. I remember thinking that watching this, and I was like, oh, what a missed opportunity. I think that's what annoys me
Brother,
with it.
my God, because like thinking about that, because you know how like forever people were saying like Scream 7 because of all the drama that was going on with that and people weren't coming back and people were getting fired, all that. They were like, why don't we do like Scream 7's just gonna be like an offshoot. We're gonna go see what was Sydney dealing with during the events of Scream, and it was gonna be like someone pitched like a cabin movie where it's like a ghost face, like, or a couple of them just like hunting her and her family at like a cabin for Christmas. And it was just like, dude, that would have been awesome to have that. And then like maybe we allude to Stu, we see him, and then the end of Scream 7 is like he reveals himself to Sydney or something, and then it's like the third film is like she's trying to convince people, like the hunt for Stu Macher. And yeah, I've always been a fan since they introduced like broadly the fan base introduced the cult of Ghostface. I actually think that would be very fun to go down because like Luke said, it goes down that idea of like Jeffrey Dahmer and all these people who've kind of become obsessed with killers and people who are kind of adjacent to murders and things like that. It's like you could have really played with that a little bit more. But also, I think like one of the hard parts is like Scream has always kind of been, hey, we're homaging, paying tribute to horror movies and the trends of current film and everything. And it's like I feel like they just were always so stuck on that they never focused on this huge like plethora of like true crime shit they could have taken advantage of nowadays. That's bigger than just people saying I am on a podcast.
It would be interesting, and they probably won't go this route with it, but if you had that influence of Ghostface and these killers doing things, even incorporating something like Seven, where it's like a darker version of Ghostface doing these more methodical things or whatever. And then to incorporate Stu, if he would have been like Sydney's Hannibal Lecter, and she's going to him to kind of be like, well,
Hell
what about
yes.
this? What about that? And you have those two kind of standing off right there, him behind bars or on a phone to her and stuff like that. And you kind of just have these discussions between the two of them, and you kind of develop this relationship with it. I think that could have been really interesting, but I don't know if they'd ever go that route with it. I think that's kind of the tweaking you need with Scream, where it's like maybe throw the formula out, especially when you're dealing with legacy characters, to get more mileage out of them. You earned your stripes at that point. At that point, if you have Stu Macher and Sidney Prescott on the screen, I don't need the formula for Scream. Just I know their background. Tell me a story that's going to be really interesting. I think you could do something like that, especially if you're going to start bringing back all these legacy characters. Really make use out of them.
Absolutely. I want to see Sid freak out and finally snap. A lot of people do. I think like that is ultimately we're circling the drain of that being one of the only ideas they haven't done is Sydney finally breaking and being the killer. But I feel like at that point it's like that defeats the entire series of her not snapping, like her always being the focal point. It's like, oh no. But I don't know. There might be a story there. Luke, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really liking your ideas here for Scream. I think you should have probably been writing Scream. And we did also have another comment up here. I think Adrian highlighted this one because I agree. You are very funny,
Gotta
my man.
do some stand up,
Oh,
man.
I try.
I have always said that, and I've said this live. I've said this in my videos. Everything. Luke is a very, very, very strong writer. So he is quippy. He's quick with a joke and a light of your smoke.
Well, thank you.
But
I
there's
love
no
that.
place he'd rather be because he's right here on the Sunday Scaries.
Every
With all of
Sunday.
us. Every Sunday, talking Scream. But yeah, thank you guys for being so kind with us too. Good understanding. Because yeah, it's like anytime we make a solo Scream video talking about news or anything, people are always jumping down our throats about it. Does Shudder count as a studio? They're the best with copyright. LOL. Shudder is, I would say, qualifies. Yeah, because they are the ones that would be copywriting the stuff. I know IFC, they're kind of like a partnership, so it's like sometimes you'll have a little bit of crossover there. But IFC Shudder, like, if you want like genuine, honest, I don't know, who do you think is the best studio for content creators thus far? I think IFC Shudder. Like those two, like they give us everything, and they're always great about setting up interviews. I never have to worry about stuff, and like they're always so.
Yeah,
they've been great to work with.
They're really seamless. It's always such an easy process working with them. I would say Cineverse is always pretty surprising too, to an extent. Like having like getting Terrifier, things like that. It's like, oh man, really accommodating, especially Terrifier 3. We've always had a great rapport with them. But like Terrifier 3, it was such a big jump in notability from getting that second one. And so we didn't know if we'd ever get 3 because we had to go, we were really early on in the podcast when we went and saw 2. And then so it was like, we didn't really have anything to reach out to. So 3 was a big question mark, but that one was a very, very welcome surprise. I think that was one of the bigger gets that we could possibly get on the channel. And then, but overall, real consistent, I would say IFC Shudder are the ones that it's absolutely seamless. We know there's never a question with that. It's like we already have the process. We know what to expect, when to get a screener and stuff like that. So it's like I would probably say they're the most agreeable out of everybody.
And they take care of us even like at certain festivals. They will have films there that they're not sending screeners out to. But they will take care of us and accommodate us. I mean, like you talked about Where the Devil Roams, the Addams Family. We said this in our review, or when we talked about Mother of Flies in our big roundup video, that like they accommodated us. Like we just reached out to them because the film wasn't available for virtual press, but they were able to get us the Toby Poser, I believe, was the one who set that up for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
she
get
just she got it that, and it was IFC Shutter. They had no problem with it. It was one of our usual contacts. They're like, "Hey guys, here you go." It's like it's never an issue with them. Where other studios will kind of, especially when with us, because like we're a very small channel compared to giant studios, things like that. Obviously, it's just the two of us. So like, there's a lot of stuff where it's like you'll just kind of be like given the same, oh, we're not doing that, and then you'll find out like, oh well, our buddy over here just got access to it and now is doing an interview. It's like they don't really they aren't as upfront with you as you'd like them to be all the time. But hey,
Yeah, I will say, just because I know that Mother of Flies trailer just came out, but and you're talking about that where, yeah, we weren't sure we were going to get Mother of Flies. We weren't going to get it. Actually, we got a denial on that one. And
that's true. Mhm.
we did reach out to Toby Poser, and what a phenomenal human being. Like, I can't stress it enough. I mentioned the Addams Family on my last list with Where the Devil Roams, and what a fantastic watch that is. They are just fantastic creative. So I know Mother of Flies coming out in January. I highly recommend it. It's like, please go out and support, because I said they need their flowers, and they absolutely do, because of the storytelling that they're doing with those DIY projects. It really is just that punk rock feel to it. Like, literally, like with the music, everything is so well done. And I think everyone will be really happy with Mother of Flies.
Yeah, I think we're planning on doing like a standalone review
Yes.
for that one because like we saw like what some of the other creators were doing. Like Cody, I think, has a really good strategy for covering festivals where like he'll do some roundups or he'll do like a big list talking about movies, and then it's like, when they get closer to actually releasing, like doing solo reviews, like there are obviously ones that when they're bigger movies, you want to get them out there and get them early, especially if it's something like, in this case, like Strangers Chapter 2, which was coming out in a couple weeks. It's like, yeah, I kind of wanted to let people know it's not getting any better than what it was. So, but like then you have things where it's like, yeah, certain movies like we've seen where there's still nothing, no information when it's coming out and stuff. So it's a real grab bag. So sometimes you'll see a movie, do a review about it, and then it's just dormant for 3 years. Nobody gives a shit about it until they drop a trailer. And then like for other things, it'll just be like, this is coming out in 2 weeks and they're just premiering it here for whatever reason. So it can be a little testy sometimes, but definitely IFC Shutter. I would say if you're a horror content creator looking to get into it, like talk to them. They will take care of you. It might take a minute to gain their trust or for them to gain your trust or whatever, but they're good people over there. I really like working with them.
Absolutely, they're fantastic and make things so seamless. So, I think they're probably the best that we've dealt with thus far. But we're always making contacts, so who knows who's going to be next? I suppose.
I only saw the first Scream, but Stu didn't really come across to me as a mastermind. More like Billy was the leader and Stu was kind of just following. Maybe I just don't have enough information though. No, you got it. Like that's pretty much what I think everybody kind of understood from the first movie, but I think the fandom and themselves, we've kind of almost built up this idea that, like, motivated by revenge and just nothing but time while in prison. It's like he can kind of influence people, maybe taking a little bit of that Billy charisma that he learned and using it a little bit to himself.
And looking at that, where it's like, yeah, that's certainly how it feels, and that's how it's presented. Whereas, like, looking at it now, especially if we place that idea of Stu coming back in 2026. So we're roughly what is that? It's 30 years removed from that
Hmm.
what had originally happened. So thinking of him sitting in jail, especially when you look at a social commentary on grooming, where a case can be made that Billy took advantage of Stu, and so him kind of sitting in jail,
He does make a joke about that.
yeah,
Peer pressure.
gaining knowledge, becoming almost resentful to a perspective, and striving for more intelligence. Having nothing to do other than sit and become more intelligent in prison, I think could be an interesting dynamic, especially what a change that would be on screen. Is of course Matthew Lillard looks older now, but like to have this more composed, methodical Stu in jail, I think could be really unnerving.
And he can still play up the big moments and
Yes.
stuff like that and have his stuff, because like even he was the best part of him and Skeet Ulrich, I think, were the best parts of Five Nights at Freddy's too. Like their
Oh yeah.
scenes were the most compelling. And it's like I think he brought a really good like edginess to that character in there, and that's a character I don't even care about. So, but ultimately, if I'm gonna be honest, Mama Mayhem, a lot of this, I think, and I can say this, I think a lot of the Scream fans would agree. A lot of this just comes from the love of Matthew Lillard as an actor and just like who he is. So I think that a lot of people really just want to see him come back in some form of way because he is like iconic. Him and Billy in that first movie are great, and it would just be nice to see him kind of come back as this get his time in the spotlight to do something. Plus, I don't give a shit what Quentin Tarantino says. Matthew Lillard's a great actor in my opinion. I fucking love that guy. So him and Paul Dano both. I love Tarantino, but that guy, he's been running his mouth a lot the last few years and saying some shit that I feel like, he might look back and cringe on in a couple years. Cause like, yeah, he's just really going off.
I feel like he just says shit to say shit because, like,
I
I
think so
remember, like,
too. Like, I'm just
I
like,
remember, like,
really?
when he started rambling off, he had like takes that I'm like, really? And I think there was one. What was it? It was after I think his pitch for Halloween 6 or something like that. And I just remember him like the Man in Black, and it's like a road film with the Man in Black and Michael Myers, and they're like all driving out of town. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And it's like I think he becomes more and more unhinged
Yeah.
as we as we get older here, and I'm like, man, these takes are not holding up, my guy.
Yeah. It's
I'd
like
edit that one.
it's like I still think he's like a good director and stuff like that, and I still like his movies, but like I don't know, it's just like I listened to like a part of a podcast that he was on recently. I think he's doing a podcast, if I remember correctly, with one of his friends, and it's just like listening to him like babble on and just like it's like I just feel like he stopped watching movies, like actually watching movies, or he just never has. And he's always stuck with what he knows and what he loves, which is fine. But like him, like talking about Paul Dano being like a bad actor or somebody that he doesn't like, it's like, I'm pretty sure that the last time that he like even considered or like saw anything that Paul Dano did was probably back when like one of his movies and Paul Dano's movies were at the Oscars together. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where it's like I just don't trust that you've been keeping up with his entire career. Like I'm sorry, you just don't strike me as somebody who's going out, and even though he likes to be hailed as somebody who looks at independent cinema, I don't get that sense from him anymore. Just the way he talks about movies, it's like you're just not watching like anything. Like look, like has he seen anything that IFC Shutters put out from a horror perspective? Probably not. And he's fucking missing. Like I don't know.
I think that is 100% accurate. I think, as you get, it may be not 100% of the case, but, I think more often than not, you just don't have the time to navigate the space other than what you're doing. Like Quentin Tarantino, I feel like started out student of the game, probably absorbed every different thing when he was making films. And you can see that shine through in Pulp Fiction, his earlier works. But then I think he became focused on making, I guess, a Quentin Tarantino film, and that's what he excels at. He does make good films, but I don't think he has an idea of what's been going on in the past 20 years independently. A lot of smaller films out there. I think he sees the bigger awarded shows or films that are up for those awards, but other than that, I don't know necessarily if he's really looking at a lot of the small stuff that's going on. So it's
Mhm.
like he probably doesn't really have a reference point in
Yeah,
saying other than what
clearly
he's seen.
he didn't see Life of Chuck. Cause like, yeah, it's like Matthew Lillard's in there for 5 minutes, but his 5 minutes are actually like a really impactful sequence. Like it's a really heartfelt, very sobering conversation, about just like what happens when you're about to die. It's crazy. Dude gave a great performance. Again, they're 5 minutes, and that's all he needed.
Yeah, and
Ugh.
Paul Dano, did he see Little Miss Sunshine? Come on.
Yeah. Dude, did he fucking actually like even watch There Will Be Blood? Like Paul Dano's fantastic in that movie. Like everybody likes to, give oh geez, Daniel Day-Lewis, all the credits. Like, yeah, he's a monster in that movie. He's amazing. But like Paul Dano is no slouch. And like look at his career. Like, I mean, if you really want to see peak Paul Dano, in my opinion, you gotta watch um Prisoners. Prisoners, and then watch oh god, 12 Years a Slave. Those two performances back to back, they're only like a year or two apart from each other. The range is absolutely insane because like you have this character who you will go starting off hating and then you'll understand more about, and then you have this deplorable, awful like slaver in this other movie, and he's just terrible, but he's just like, again, fantastic. It's like, show that to Quentin
Yeah.
Tarantino and tell me this guy doesn't have range.
I really enjoyed that guy in the newer Batman movie when he
Oh
played
yeah,
the
it's the
Riddler.
Riddler. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean he's basically a lot like his character from you said it was Strangers, right? Or not Strangers, but
Prisoners.
Prisoners. Yeah. Basically the same character there, but I really wanted to see more of his Riddler too.
Mm-hmm. I do feel like he was shortchanged just a little bit. I did want to get a little bit more in his head, but
I agree.
that was a very big movie. We got to remember that thing's like 2.5 hours. So, they did a lot for a lot. And I do like that one. I think that's a very good Batman movie.
I had a problem with the ending, especially when you see the potential of certain things. I think I pitched to you, Dylan, how I would have ended it, and I was like,
Yeah.
I wish they would have done that. But
Yeah.
Paul Dano's fantastic. I was excited when he was cast as the Riddler because I was like, I know he's going to deliver. He's got that intangible. That's why I was really surprised. Quentin Tarantino maybe had a touch, but I didn't think that would be such a bad take. And I was like, man, really? Have you seen Paul Dano work?
I know, dude. And like I agree with Penelope here. Jackie Brown was my favorite Tarantino film. Never watched all of Kill Bill, like Hateful Eight, but it's basically The Thing as a Western. And I had a video written about that where I was kind of plotting that out. But then, lists started like kind of being what works, and that's kind of where we started going. But I'd love to go back and visit it where it's like comparing Hateful Eight to The Thing. But just because like it's not just the music that he uses in that movie, but there's a lot of like similar story beats throughout that. Like it's very funny. And like I think that'd be a fun video. But nonetheless, yeah, I think Jackie Brown is completely underrated. I think I think Jackie Brown's underrated. I think Death Proof is very underrated. And like again, I love Tarantino, but like I think this is like the most appropriate time that we can use sometimes you just got to separate the art from the artist. Normally people say that and it's dealing with SA or murder or all kinds of horrible things. At least for here, we can just say like, he's just got old man brain now and he's just kind of saying shit, talking out his ass, I guess. Cause that's all I can really whittle it down to is just like, I just feel like he's becoming a curmudgeon and it sucks. But I'm still like, he hasn't done anything so dastardly offensive to me that I'm like not going to go check out his movies. You know what I mean? Like he can have these opinions, but he can get shit on for those opinions, just like any of us. So there you go.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's not going to affect my viewing or anticipation of a Quentin Tarantino film. Like, I'm not going to boycott anything. I think I've learned very years ago, to be honest, to be like, maybe put that extra commentary from Tarantino on mute and just enjoy the films that he comes out with. Cause it's like, I feel like he has become out of touch. And that's what I kind of read from a lot of the comments that he does make. And I'm just like, well, he can make a good Quentin Tarantino film. So I'll go certainly and watch that. But other than that, I'm not going to look for recommendations or in-depth commentary on current actors or anything like that. Cause I just think, he's been laser focused on the things that he does rather than really taking in the actual space itself.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good one too. I forgot about this movie, Love and Mercy. Paul Dano was good in the Beach Boys movie he did years and years ago. He was in a movie playing a teenage father that was also very good. Oh God, what is that movie? I know what you're talking about. Yeah, he's one of those actors that like I mean, you already made the joke, Little Miss Sunshine. Like, how old is he in that movie?
I don't even know.
He's probably like 19.
Yeah, something like that.
But like early on, like you knew the dude had some talent, and like yeah, like Adrian brought up, the Riddler and things like that he's done bigger roles for. But like, man, I don't know. Like, again, getting back to the heart of the issue, it's like there will be blood. He's good in that movie. I don't know what he means when it's like, yeah,
Swiss Army Man, come on.
oh, dude, yes, like Army Man, the precursor to the one everybody loved, where everything everywhere all at once.
Oh,
So yeah, still got to see that. Still haven't
yeah, me
watched
too.
it.
I haven't seen that.
All I know is there's hot dog gloves for sale on A24 shop, and that's from that
Oh,
movie. So there you go.
interesting. You see, it's me
Well-
I'm watching that tonight then.
Well, I feel like we have kept our boy Adrian in the corner for far too long, talking about a franchise he doesn't have too much knowledge on.
He's just
So
being
why
a
don't we
voyeur over there in the corner.
why don't we just talk about like two other news stories with things that are unrelated to anything that Adrian has watched, so that way he can continue to stay quiet. No, I'm kidding. Let's talk about the big stuff, and I think we're gonna let him go first after Luke introduces this, because this is a franchise near and dear to his heart, and I know we will all be looking forward to I guess the sequel here in a couple of weeks, actually.
Yeah.
Isn't it beginning of January?
Yeah, sometime in January. I don't have the exact date. It might be mid-January, but I don't know 100%.
Yeah.
Nia DaCosta's The Bone Temple will be hitting theaters this coming January, and some already Sony let some people view it apparently. So there's a little bit of commentary coming out of there. Some positive, some say it's even more divisive than 28 years later. So that should be really interesting. I'm excited to see what's going to happen, but it looks like the studio is moving on for that third installment. This one looks like Alex Garland will be returning to pen the script, and they're in talks for Cillian Murphy to return, as well as Danny Boyle had mentioned earlier on that he hoped to actually direct that third installment. So I don't know. The 28 years later was certainly divisive. We had talked about it, Dylan, coming out of the theater, and it still holds true now in terms of the rating and what people wanted from that film. So the Bone Temple being maybe even a little more divisive. I don't know. What do we got feeling? What's the temperature in the room for that third installment then?
I gotta say, man, my bad. I thought you were gonna go. Anyway,
No, I was just making faces because it's one of those things where it's like more divisive. Like, oh my god, I do not care. Like, I'm so glad that this third film is in the bag, because like I'm so tired of defending the first movie. Like, it's good. I don't get it. Like, I'm sorry you were disappointed, but like it's still very solid. So go ahead, Adrian.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, watching the trailer again and kind of seeing how 28 years later ended off with the young son of the main character there running into the quirky guy we saw in the beginning, and his cult of personality. It's like the cult of Jimmy or something like that,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yes.
Hilarious name, by the way. Jimmy's a nice name. But anyway, yeah, just seeing them involved and seeing how crazy it's going to get and how that ties into, them finding the Bone Temple. It seemed like the Call of Jimmy found the Bone Temple, judging by how the trailer looked. Seeing Cillian Murphy coming back to 28 years later, the third movie, that's super exciting. My fiance is a huge Cillian fan. I am too. This picture I'm looking at of him, he kind of looks like handsome Squidward a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but anyway, yeah, I'm very excited, and I'm really happy in the speed that they're going about putting all these movies out too.
I agree. I think like I enjoy the 1-2 punch, and then like even if we have to wait another year, say for this movie, or year and 6 months, like don't make us wait 2 years or anything. But I do like this, shooting movies back to back, especially when you have a plan. So we've been talking about that. You see how we're kind of coming full circle with another you can clearly tell, even though they are talking about Alex Garland coming back and officially penning the script for this one. I had to go back because I thought it was 3 completed scripts, but it was 2 scripts and an outline. That was basically what was handed in. And so, yeah, it's kind of exciting. It's definitely cool to hear that, I think that's kind of cool that they're at least going to have Danny Boyle potentially come back, even though I know the idea was probably originally to have another person come in so that way they can spread the wealth and all that. But I don't know. I just feel like looking at the job he did setting everything up with, 28 years later, because I think that was the thing that cut so many people off guard is like how much more of a we are starting the story. Like I always compare it to like the first act of a video game, that first movie is in the new trilogy. Cause it's like we are really just building up Spike's character and all of his home life and all the problems that he has to deal with before going out on this grand adventure. And I think if this one delivers and is as divisive and exciting as the last one, it seems like from all the marketing that we're going to be spending a lot of time with what's his character's name in this one?
Who?
Bald guy. I can't think of his name all of a sudden.
Oh,
Ralph
dude.
Fiennes.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, why am I forgetting his name too?
it's Doctor something, but whatever.
Dr. Ian Kelson.
Kelson. There we are.
Yeah, Dr. Kelson. Like, I hope he's in this movie a lot. I'm excited. I said in our trailer reaction, I don't think he's gonna make it out of this one, but I'm certainly excited for this. I think that this all points to good, and yeah, I've been excited for this one. I think Nia DaCosta, seeing what she did with Candyman, I really wanted this to be a big win for her, so I'm hoping it is.
I'm certainly excited for Bone Temple, but I really enjoyed 28 Years Later. I did an entire video on it, and I think
It's a good movie.
dissecting it even farther for that video, I grew to love it even more because, yeah, like Dylan said, you're really focusing in on Spike's character, and you're gonna be using him as the lens to a certain extent for the rest of the films. And I like that aspect of it because when you look at 28 Years Later, yeah, it almost is a chapter in this 3-story arc. But just to watch 28 Years Later, it feels like a complete story where it's like it very much is a coming of age story for Spike. So you feel
Mhm.
I didn't walk out of that film saying, oh my gosh, I feel unfulfilled. I was like, yeah, they tease the cult of Jimmy's, and it's like, oh, that's interesting to see where that's going to go for the next film. But I don't feel like it's such a strong connector piece for the actual story itself that it makes you feel unfulfilled. You just feel more interested for Nia DaCosta's. And I think that's where this has me is like I'm excited to see Bone Temple. I want to see what she's going to do behind the lens. I know Danny Boyle has a very stylistic vision, and I want to see what she's going to bring. Is it going to be her own style, or is she going to try something new, something different in terms of what Danny Boyle likes to do as well? But I'm excited to see an expanded lore to the Kelson character. I'm hoping that's what we're going to get. Such a strong character in 28 Years Later. So I'm hoping we see more with him. I'm really excited to see what's going down with the Cult of Jimmy's. That was such an interesting aspect. Um, Tease for the ending of 28 Years Later. So I really want to see how they operate, what we're going to get into, because they tease some really dark stuff in 28 Years Later. So having them to be a focal point with Spike and to see how he's going to navigate those as well, because we've seen maybe some tension between one of the Jimmys and Spike. I think it was a little clip
Yeah.
in the trailer. So I want to see what that story is going to lead to. Plus Spike's dad, Aaron Taylor Johnson. I don't know if he's going to show up. Who knows what exactly the story is going to look like. I'm ready for some heartbreak, but I'm also excited that we're greenlighting that third installment as well.
I know it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's such a weight off my shoulders on it because like that's the only thing that sucks about walking out of this is like because the first movie, yeah, I can understand some criticism to it for people not being overly satisfied where it leaves off and everything because yeah, it is very much ending like hey, we're just starting the story, and it's one of those things where I just really hate when movies like set this out, they take their time, and then because not everybody gets all the answers they're looking for, they just immediately drop the project and we never get to see it fulfilled. I was very worried that this would be like a, hey, 28 years later, it's divisive. Bone Temple underperforms because it's divisive, but they're solid movies, and now we're not going to get it. But clearly it seems like they've been happy enough with the response from fans and the box office was solid enough, even though people wanted to say that it was like failing, but it clearly didn't. So it's one of those things where it's like I think like yeah, I'm just happy we got that confirmation and can like rest easy that we will at least see the conclusion of the story, whether it's good or bad. So
Yeah. I think they've done a great job building that foundation, especially after you've seen 28 days and then 28 weeks, and now 28 years felt like something different. Again, it felt like it was in line with 28 days, but they altered it enough to make it feel like its own story. And I loved where they went with it. I know some people weren't thrilled with it and how many infected we got and things. But I think it was a natural progression to the story, especially 28 years removed from the initial incident. I think it all made sense. And I really liked what they did. So I'm certainly invested for the long haul here and to see what that third installment is going to look like. And I'm glad that we do, like Dylan said, have that clear vision. We have, hasn't been passed off. It's not a stop and start. It's like, okay, no, we're greenlighting it. We're going to see this one through, and we haven't had to pivot to say, oh, no, let's do this or do that. So I'm excited to see what that vision is going to be. I'm glad that it's really panning out because I know that was a big thing doing the research for 28 years later. And Danny Boyle kept saying, well, the third one's not for sure. We're still trying to get some funding going for that one to see if we can make that third installment. So I'm excited to see this one actually panning out.
100%. Yep. And then I think like overall, there was a lot of stuff, like even when you pulled from your video, you talked about how Alex Garland had pitched a completely different concept for another 28 years film, and you could still do that movie. Like that movie takes place completely different timeline with a completely different country and like how they find themselves involved with the virus and everything. It's like it's a really compelling concept, and like if you really wanted to do it and let Alex Garland go full blown where it's like they're speaking Chinese and we're watching them. Like, Adrian, did you hear about this story?
Mm-mm.
Oh, look, give him a little rundown. I think people should get a little
Refresher.
Oh, did Smiley see Bone Temple already? He said, I like Bone Temple.
Oh,
that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, interesting. Anyway, so the initial pitch for 28 years later, Alex Garland had the idea of the heroes essentially were just going to be a group of Chinese ops going into Ground Zero there to try to get, I think it was some of the infected or the initial virus itself, because they were going to weaponize it. Or no, they were looking for a cure, but then there was an opposing force, another military, which was just the assumption could be that it was a U.S. Were there to weaponize the infection. So it was going to kind of be these opposing forces, but it was going to be told all in subtitles. It was going to be in Chinese because it was through the lens of a different, the Chinese military. So it was going to be that idea rather than what we did get. So it was going to be something more in line with like a 28 weeks later is really because Alex Garland initially approached it through a franchise perspective of what would we do here rather than what Danny Boyle wanted is more so what we got with 28 years later, that more focused in on a story of a group of characters, where this one was going to be more franchise-esque. So it was going to be way different, but I think you could easily do something like that because it does have that twist of we don't see that often going to be completely subtitled and go that route with it. But I think that's why you can get the part 3 done, and that really does open up storytelling for, hey, we could also do another story or this story. I think the 28 Days franchise is very lucrative, so you can really get this story done and then go about your way to start giving maybe young actors or directors a shot at, let's write this and direct it and see what we get.
That would have been really cool to see. Like just that different lens, and also the Ground Zero aspect of it. I enjoyed the idea of it being franchisable, just seeing it through way more lenses. But I'm really happy with what we got. And in a time where I feel like story content isn't as like strong or as fluid or isn't coming out as much, 28 years later was really a nice breath of fresh air. Just as I always say about the movie.
Yeah, it does feel like I feel like this year we've had a few films that just feel like really complete like experiences. I felt satisfied quite a bit by more than a handful of movies this year, and that was one of them where I'm just like, I like this. I really do think it ends well, and now I can move forward knowing that we get to see the end of the story, as long as they don't just radically change everything by the third entry and they're just like, well, we're going to introduce this character named Corey to the story, and he's
Oh
gonna
yeah,
have a
him
thing
and
for a
Samson.
car.
Freaking Corey, bro.
Oh yeah, that was the thing. I'm boycotting this movie actually, guys. Because Samson now has a loincloth. Uh,
It's
they said they're covering him up, and I can't. I
like you know
need.
what I was coming to see, literally.
Ugh, like, come on,
Literally
man.
coming to see. Love it.
I can't do it. Well, I think with that one down, Luke, can I request that we do the story with my boy Greg McLean? I
Yeah,
would like to
certainly.
talk about that.
I bet you would. All right. So it looks like David Dashmalston will be teaming up with horror director Greg McLean. And this one is going to get a little meta. So this is a little meta thriller horror called Kill Screen. And it looks like, let me read you a little thing here. It looks like a group of friends will be pulled into a virtual reality game where each level forces them to survive a different horror subgenre. So this includes, in the little article, said slashers, zombie, supernatural, and the downright psychological. So we're getting a little twist here. We did see Stream come out on what probably last year, which is kind of game based. I'm assuming this one's going to be very different. But I don't know. I don't know what to expect here. This seems a little gimmicky for Greg McLean when we know him from Wolf Creek and things. So what in Rogue? So I don't know. I'm hoping for some sort of visceral experience, but I don't know. What do you think? This is too gimmicky, or you on board?
Um, I'm more comfortable with this because of movies like the Belko Experiment, which he also did, which is kind of like if they tackle it, I think with that same sense of humor and matter to it, where it's not necessary. It's just like a dark, like sense of humor to this movie, where it is kind of a gory, more commentary on just like all the, like, the stuff they could do with virtual reality, as well as they could work in stuff for AI, things like that. But I think like if you can kind of play on that a little bit, but really lean into the darkly satirical stuff, I think you can have a lot of fun with it. And I think the Belko Experiment does that pretty well to an extent. There's some visceral gore scenes in that. I think there was another movie that kind of did a similar concept. What was that called with Stephen Young?
Oh,
Is it Chaos?
Mayhem.
Mayhem. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought Mayhem was a little better than Belko Experiment, but like I think overall it's like I trust that he has the ability to step in there. Also, looking at the character of, Mick Taylor and kind of having that darkly comedic sense of style and humor to him. I think especially seeing the series, I think I could see this kind of panning out a little bit better for him. I'm just going in positively, I think.
yeah, and I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I just think I have a hard time wrapping my brain around it because I love the Belko Experiment. I think Belko Experiment may have maybe that a little bit of dark humor to it, but it doesn't really feel necessarily gimmicky because you can kind of get lost in the situation with the characters. Yeah, what they're in is, I guess, kind of a gimmick, but it doesn't feel that way because it's just kind of almost after the fact of it leads to that aspect of anything can happen at any moment if you know uh, what the concept is around Belko Experiment. But like, I think where I have trouble wrapping my head around this is like we've just had Until Dawn come out, and that one did not work for us. And I struggle, I think, with this almost where they say each level, where I don't want it to be like, oh,
Yeah.
game over, that type of thing, where we kind of get into this, where having a slasher chase you around now next level is zombies. And it's like, I don't want to feel so inconsistent tonally with everything we're dealing with each different subgenre that we lose what makes Greg McLean's films feel so visceral, and I think there is just a balancing act that you have to do. And David Desmalshin plays the main villain is what the article said. So, he's got absolute charisma. So no issues there. I'm always excited to see him. I'm glad that his resume is like off the chain right now in terms of how many roles he's getting and just being in the horror space. Greg McLean, I'm intrigued to see what this is going to be. My hesitation is that it's going to feel a little too gimmicky, but I do have faith in this one.
There's a couple of call outs I want to make here, some funny stuff. Sounds kind of cool. Makes me think of Dungeon Master for some reason. Is that the movie with Tom Hanks? Is that what you're talking about? Because I've briefly remember watching like the middle to end of that on TV one day after school, and like it was just the weirdest movie ever to me because like I was a kid and I had never seen Tom Hanks in such like a weird like transient state like he is in the end of that movie. I was very uncomfortable by that as a kid. I'm like, the hell is the guy from Big doing? Okay, that's Mazes and Monsters. Okay, there's what am I thinking of then? I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Um uh Stream was good. Nothing really happens for like 45 minutes to an hour in it. I will give it that. I think we highlighted that as a positive, as the fact that they spent time with characters. But I will say on other rewatches, it does feel a tad slow towards the start there. But I think like there's enough fun kills in there that once we get the ball rolling, it's nice. And I still credit that movie for giving some of our legacy actors actual roles rather than just cameos.
Yeah, I think that was a pleasant surprise, to be honest, because again, I think that's a film that works where it does feel gimmicky and it really sells it. And I think it all makes sense where it's like, I'm kind of taking that idea of gimmick and trying to have Greg McLean try to excel at that. And it just doesn't feel like what I would want out of his film. Now, I don't know necessarily if that's going to happen. I think we will get something a little visceral, but I'm just hoping they make it feel authentic, and it's not like a tongue-in-cheek thing. I think you really have to play it dark. So if you're gonna have zombies, make them ripping people apart, have that kind of darkness that we see with Wolf Creek or Belko Experiment, even where it just gets bloody, gets gruesome. And I think that could be a lot of fun. I just again don't want that gimmick of game over and we have to restart anything, which is going to be my only fear with that. But David Dashmalshin, Greg McLean, I mean, they usually knock it out of the park. So I think regardless, this is going to be a happy pairing, and we'll just have to see what we can get.
Sorry, Erica just sent me an article. I guess this is some breaking news, but I guess there were two people found dead at Los Angeles home owned by director Rob Reiner.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Los Angeles Police Department is investigating 2 deaths at a home that property records show belongs to director Rob Reiner in the Burntwood, Los Angeles area. Officers called to the home at 3:40 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and the LAPD said in a statement calling the investigation an apparent homicide. They said a man and a woman were found deceased inside the home. The
It
Los
says,
Angeles Fire
yeah, and
Department.
it says man 78, which Rob Reiner is 78.
That's so yeah, holy shit. That's insane. And they're
Well,
saying a homicide?
yeah. Oh, man.
Holy shit. Because at first I thought when I started, I like it didn't like process through my head real quick, but it was we just lost another guy earlier this year, him and his wife.
Oh my gosh.
Because we found out like he had dementia
Yeah.
and stuff, and like I think like they kind of think that his wife died, and then he just kind of
Yeah, that was a Gene Hackman,
Gene
wasn't it?
Hackman. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like he didn't like he wasn't cognitively enough there
Yeah.
to take care of himself, and he just kind of died with her.
Yep.
And they because their dogs and stuff were dead, I guess too. It was terrible. Like this is awful. Uh
Man.
yeah,
I
she
love
just said
Standby.
another Discord is talking about it, saying him and his wife were unalive. Jeez, dude. Yeah, I mean, I guess let's take a detour here and talk about Rob Reiner for a minute because, like, yeah, that guy's made. I mean, he made. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Didn't he do Misery?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, and that's like one of. A lot of people regard that as one of the top 5 like best Stephen King
Yeah.
adaptations.
It
I mean,
has to
Stand
be.
by Me also is up there
Yeah.
too. But
He
like,
was the guy that had a great relationship with Stephen King.
it was
You know?
him and uh guy who did Green Mile and
Yeah, Shawshank. Frank Darabont.
Frank Darabont, and then I guess you'd say Mike Flanagan.
Yeah.
Probably like the 3 best known directors who've made multiple Stephen King projects. Like,
Yeah. and really excelled at them. I mean,
Yeah, like
really like made
none of
top
them are
notch.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I think didn't he do Princess Bride as
He
well?
did
Am
do
I?
Princess Bride. He did Spinal Tap. I'm actually just looking at his filmography. He was also an actor. We have to
Yeah.
remember that as
He was
well.
in,
So,
I remember my introduction was All in the Family way back
yep.
in the day. Um,
Um, Adrian will probably remember this. He was the Jordan Belfort's dad in Wolf of Wall Street. Oh, you're muted.
Oopsie daisies. Anyway, yeah, I was just looking at the Wolf of Wall Street page, just trying to figure out who he was there.
Yeah, it's he's I remember him from that, but like yeah, it's like Spinal Tap, he's kind of like the I think he's the one kind of doing all the interviewing and stuff, but like yeah, he's very very well known. But as a director, I would say that's probably the biggest impact he had on me personally cuz like I've his movies were something that like I mean, you can ask my dad like a lot of his movies were playing in our house all the time. Like one of my dad's favorites and one of my favorites is A Few Good Men, and he directed that. So like that's and I think that's a movie that's like as far as writing goes, I look at movies like that. 12 Angry, I guess funny enough, 12 Angry Men is another one where it's just kind of like there's court scenes, there's arguments, but it's just like, you're just so engaged by everything. Like it's that movie, if you guys haven't seen it, the famous one where it's like Tom Cruise is like, I want the truth, and Jack Nicholson's like, you can't handle the truth. So that's that movie. Very good, very good if you haven't seen it.
Man, Princess Bride, dude.
Did you order the
Classic.
code red? When Harry Met Sally, that's a great one too. Like,
his
good
films always had
lord.
like a big feel to him, you know. I think especially like looking at Misery, and Stand by Me and Princess Bride. I mean, that was a staple as a kid. Like watching that one, I love wrestling, so Andre the Giant in that was fantastic. But it's just like that film has such a whimsical feel to it. I absolutely love it. I can get lost in that one. It just has that storybook feel to it. Like
Yeah.
I
Time.
love the story of what Fred Savage sitting in bed at sick and his
Mhm.
grandpa like it legitimately the story feels like that. You know, it's like you always get those feels every time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to call my dad probably after the show. He's probably listening to this right now, but like in the morning. But yeah, he's a huge fan of Rob Reiner. Like, I mean, again, like I grew up watching movies like When Harry Met Sally, Princess Bride. I remember the Christmas my dad got me that. He got it for my sister and I because like you guys remember back when Black Friday was great for physical media fans?
Yeah.
Oh
$5
yeah.
for DVDs, Blu-rays.
Man.
My dad went crazy one year and got us like a bunch of stuff. I remember I got Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, a bunch of other movies, and one of them was The Princess Bride, and I'd never seen it. We watched it like 6 a.m. Christmas morning because like my sister was like, I think probably like 4 years old at this point. So I was probably 8, and she like woke us all up stupid early because it was like the first time she was like really sentient child for Christmas, like got the program a lot where my son is right now. So it's like I just remember watching that so early for the very first time and just being like, this movie is so strange. Cause like, yeah, it starts off with Fred Savage in the bed. And then it's like, it felt very Disney Channel, but then I'm like, and I'm 8 years old. So like a lot of the jokes and all the humor and the in jokes and the way it's written is just going over my head. But I'm just like, damn, this is kind of funny. I like this. I like Andre the Giant. I like the whole scene with them doing the poison and all that.
The
And then
iocane
obviously
powder, that is
oh
fantastic.
yeah,
Like
yeah. It's
so
all of
good.
that's great. And then like I'm Inigo Montoya, Prepare to Die, like fantastic stuff. And then you just fall in love. Before you know it, you're sitting there and it's just one of the things that God, you're just so wrapped up into it and you're like, this is such a damn good movie. And it's like it's a little bit of a satire, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Like kind of yeah, so it's like it's really it's got a lot to say about it and it's like nice, like have fun storming the castle, all that stuff. Billy Crystal, holy
Yeah.
crap.
It's got a funness to it, like the As You Wish, like that
Yeah.
type of stuff is like it is such a fun film. It feels like such a complete
Carrie
film.
Elways. Yeah, very good. Like that's a horror alum for us.
Yep.
He's Saw actor. He's the guy. He's the doctor. He cuts his foot off. Everybody remember? I remember.
He cut
I
off
love
his
it.
tootsies, guys.
Yeah. we got to watch it. But like, yeah, that's another thing. Like Billy Crystal has worked a lot with Rob Reiner, so
You
that
don't
sucks.
think he is in trouble, do you?
No, I hope not.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's too soon, Luke, too soon.
My apologies.
No, but damn, I completely forgot. I don't know how the sequel was to Spinal Tap, but that came out this year. So he just directed a movie.
Oh, wow.
That's terrible.
When did that come out?
Apparently, they're questioning his son.
Oh,
Eric
no.
says. Oh no, it's fine. I mean, this is there you go. Hell yeah, this is fine. I mean, this is it's like we're not like a
Yeah, we're not
Hollywood
hard
news kind of.
structured,
You guys know how it is. We just like talk, but like, hey, we all talk about movies and shit. Like, yeah, it's it's one of those things where it's like this is a big deal. We're all going to talk about it. We were probably gonna, if we didn't catch this now, we were probably going to bring it up next week. So,
Yep.
at least as like some kind of as an aside, because yeah, it's like this is significant, especially with how presumably it's gone down as a murder potentially.
Yeah.
Which that is completely fucking crazy. Let's see, what does that say? I remember because I met James from Dead Meat in September and he asked me if I was going to watch it. Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Hell yeah. That's cool. You got to meet James. Damn.
Man,
yeah.
that's some somber news.
That is. That sucks.
For a loop there.
Been a crazy 2020. What a way to end it, too, right? Like coming
Yeah.
into the last few weeks. Fuck. Damn. Well, they always go in threes, they say. So we'll have to stay vigilant. Stay vigilant. But yeah, I mean,
don't know if you guys see this, but it's confirmed to be him and his wife on this.
Is it?
Oh shit! I'm gonna
18 minutes ago or 5 minutes ago on News Nation Now.
That's crazy. Yep. Everybody else is picking it up right now. 12 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago.
Stabbed to death. Jeez, dude.
Man.
Are they saying it's his son? Because that's what Erica was saying, that they're questioning his son. Holy hell. Because that would be... Oh, he's got a couple kids, so we have no clue. Damn. Right when we're trying to move on. No, I'm kidding. This is terrible. Let's see. I'm just checking to see if there's any like confirmed information about suspects right now. Because Los Angeles NBC.
Because what both sons have some sort of acting background, or at least film in some aspect. Yeah, I don't know. I saw the one son mentioned, so I don't know if that was he was. It looks like he was a screenwriter for. I think only one thing, and also was in a couple TV series. Maybe I don't know if that's. Seems like maybe.
Yeah, I was just looking through the Variety article. They don't have any more information than what we know.
Yeah, I just saw something up there. So
damn. I didn't do it. Jesus. Yeah, this is nuts. Well, what a way to change the dynamic of the show. But I guess we can, since we only had one other story, do we want to talk about that, or do we want to maybe just do like some Q&A stuff and kind of
we can do some Q&A stuff. We can save everything else that we had. For next time, depending on.
That's cool. Yeah, we can do some Q&A
what the
stuff
outlook
a little
is.
Bit. Usually violent crimes are committed by people the victims know. It makes sense. Kids being questioned doesn't mean, he for sure did it. Hopefully, it gets figured out soon. That's a good point. Yeah, that's definitely makes sense. They're gonna want to go to the people who are closest to him, especially if it is like a stabbing kind of deal. But yeah, I mean, basically, if you guys have any questions, any kind of like topics or anything you want us to cover, we'll kind of hang out for the last 10, 15 minutes or so, just kind of go back and forth. If we see any more updates or anything about the Rob Reiner stuff, we'll kind of be checking in on that. But yeah, I'm definitely pretty fucking bummed about this. This sucks.
Yeah.
It's like it would be terrible if it was just like, he passed away, but like, there's like
that'd be one thing, but
yeah, it's like you can kind of be like, okay, it's
be like a
it
tragedy.
happens. It hits all of us, right? But like,
yeah,
the fact that it's like, you're just brutally murdered in your own home, like that's crazy. It is stupid. Oh, yeah, that's crazy news at 10:30 at night. I want to know what happened. Yeah. I mean, we'll all, the way everything goes nowadays, we'll have everything figured out here by midday tomorrow. They'll have, if not somebody in custody, they'll probably have like a pretty good idea of what they're looking at. I'm just checking through Bloody Disgusting right now while we wait to see what's going on there. Because if anybody, seeing if I missed anything over the last couple days. Oh, Adrian, how do you feel about the new Resident Evil game?
I didn't even hear about it.
Yeah, they had the Game Awards. The Game Awards were this week, so there was a lot of fun stuff announced, brought up. Stuff I'll probably never play, but it's they got some cool shit in here. It is Leon Kennedy officially revealed for Resident Evil Requiem.
Dual protagonist system.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It's set approximately 30 years after the outbreak in Raccoon City. Resident Evil Requiem follows Grace on a new case where her young FBI analyst must escape from the horrors surrounding her and face the tragic memories from the death of her mother, Alyssa Ashcroft. Experience the series. What's up?
You don't just call it Requiem and it not mean anything.
Yeah, they do. They did that with Alien versus Predator Requiem.
Well, I didn't watch it. So.
What does Requiem mean for that movie? I saw a video where somebody pointed that out, and I'm like, that's hilarious. Like, that movie really does have, like, that title has no points. Adrian should start streaming games.
I've been strongly considering it, very strongly.
Oh, this is a good one. Luke actually reported on this last year.
Yeah,
was this 2 years ago?
I don't know. It's a rumor that pops up every so often nowadays that I've heard no movement on it in a very long time. I'll just see an article that'll randomly pop up saying that it's being worked on, but with no real names attached to it. I think it's been talked about for so long, and it's a good idea. I think, people would be really interested in seeing that just because they presented so many interesting ghosts from that film. But I don't know if it's ever actually going to happen. I'd love to see it. I think you could have some really well done stories. I think 13 Ghosts, that remake is highly underrated. I think maybe some people are starting to discover it now, but it's like, man, from the way those ghosts look, Matthew Lillard in it, you can't beat him.
Quentin Tarantino fucking hates it.
Yeah,
that's what you know. You can
it's
say
a
that.
bunch of bullshit.
He says that movie's terrible. All the ghosts suck. No, we were doing Kill of the Week. I remember, and I had to watch one of them meet their gritty demise in there, and that caught my interest. So I am gonna have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, they have some really good ghosts in there.
Yeah, it's pretty much stuck in development hell. I'm so honored and saw my old Resident Evil. That's great. Hell yeah. Yeah. See, that would be cool. I feel like that would be the Mike Flanagan approach.
Yeah.
We get into the real detailed backstories of each ghost.
That's
And like,
always been the pitch, is always like episodes about each individual ghost. And I think, you could really spend a lot of time,
yeah,
whether it's a season of Ghost or whatever you wanted to do to get really into the backstory.
hell yeah, Mama Mayhem, and I want Matthew Lillard back in it. Yeah, it's. I'm gonna have to check it out. Like again, Luke, it's one of those ones that Luke's been on me for a couple years now about it, so I'll get around to it. I try to check a couple of those off every year. So yeah, but I think that'll definitely be one that'll happen sooner rather than later, especially because if there's rumors, if there's anything moving on that, we're gonna have to cover it eventually. So I would like to know the source material. So. The torso is an extremely underrated ghost.
Yes. I love me a torso. Not so much anything else.
Gang. And then I know there was a couple other fun things from the Game Awards that got announced real quick. I can mention those.
The Street Fighter film.
Yeah, the Street Fighter film. Honestly, Blanca, just the poster looks great. Like just design wise, he looks good. I'm not a big Street Fighter fan, just so everybody knows. I don't actually know jack shit about Street Fighter, but I am a nerd who likes action figures. And about a year ago or so, I ended up picking up a couple of the Jada Toys Street Fighter figures. I got like 3 or 4 of them, and like they're beautiful. Like I just set them up. They're on a desk back down over there somewhere. And like they're just really nice. Like they just pose really good. And I just like the way they look. They look like animated characters, video game characters. So I was interested in this. I think Blanca looks cool, but I don't know. This movie just looks kind of weird. Like I don't know how to feel about it. Like the tone and everything from the trailer, it's just like I don't know what they're going for. It seems all over the place.
Yeah, I was concerned, certainly. And I like played the game Street Fighter back when it was on Sega. I played Mortal Kombat, stuff like that. So it really does feel like very, very gimmicky, in a sense. And I think I guess that's what they were going for. I would hope so. And it wasn't just a happy accident there. Because it really just looks like it's supposed to be extremely campy.
And I would be okay with that if like that's how we're going, but like some elements of it looked like it was going to be like, is this going to be PG-13? Do we know?
That I don't know.
Because like there were some elements where I'm like, it almost looked like they were, and I think I might just be used to this from just all the editing we have to do, and then all the other stuff of just watching movies get cut down. But it's like I felt like the trailer was cut in a way to like cut away a little bit of violence here and there, just because like I don't know, it's like that's one of the things that I was a little like put off by in the wait, hold on, what was this? The Jackal was my favorite.
Yeah, 13 Ghosts.
Yeah, I was a little put off by it as a whole, with just like some of the character designs. Like I forget who it is. One of their haircuts just looks, and I know it's kind of supposed to be goofy, but it's like
not Guile, right? Cody Rhodes.
No, not Guile. Guile I knew was gonna have the weird hair, but like it's
not 50
God.
Cent.
It is 50 Cent. Yeah.
Okay.
He's got the M. What is his character?
Is it like Bullrogue or Bullrag or something like that? I believe.
Gotcha.
Bullrog, I think, or something like that. I can't remember.
I don't know, but point is, it's interesting. It looks fine. One of the things I actually was excited was they actually did announce a release date for John Carpenter's Toxic Commandos. And the tagline is another fucking zombie game. And in the near future, an experimental attempt to harness the power of Earth's core ends in a terrifying disaster, turning soil to scum and living into undead monsters. However, the geniuses behind the experiment have a plan to make things right. A team of highly trained mercenaries to get the job done. Unfortunately, they were all too expensive. That's why we hired the Toxic Commando. So that sounds pretty cool.
Those sound pretty fun.
Says send the sludge god and its horde of things that should never be back to the underworld. Pick your character, choose your class, and matches your play style. Pile into your favorite ride and unload an array of gunfire grenades, special abilities, and freaking katanas. So I don't know. That could be fun. I think like John Carpenter is a big gamer, so I'd like to see what he does with the writing of that one. And
It could be a fun little side mission. I don't play video games that often, but maybe
maybe
we
always
it'll
say
lure me
maybe.
over there.
True.
Never say never.
Never say never.
Also, Mama Mayhem. I know they're talking about 13 Ghosts there. I always loved the hammer. What a unsettling looking design that was of him pulling like I don't know what were those like spikes. Those were railroad spikes at himself. I was like, Jesus Christ, that's wild. But
love it. Yeah, as far as so want to plan the next watch party. Yeah, I think we'll do the next one is definitely it'll be the Silent Night Deadly Night one, which will either be I think either next Sunday, which probably makes the most sense, right? If I can get the guys on that one.
yeah,
That would replace Sunday Scaries. I should have an answer, like I said, tomorrow. So either next week is going to be another episode where news, all the normal stuff, or we will do the Silent Night, Deadly Night watch along as a part of our celebration for December to Dismember. One of the things we'll be doing here because I think today is technically the kickoff for that.
yeah, believe so.
I believe so. Yeah, our first piece of content doesn't drop this day, but we are in the 12 days officially. So I'll probably put the logo up and everything just so everybody can see it. Why not? But yep, we got stuff coming for that real quick here and all the goodness. So yeah, I will let you know as soon as I'm just waiting on Evan and Alex, kind of a bringing back the boys on that one just from Beyond the Splatter Graves. Which, I want to bring them in here. I know Alex, just for those of you who don't know, if you watch that, Alex has been going through some personal stuff, just a lot of life changes, some things going on with family. So we've been giving him his space. So that's why we haven't been doing it. I know I've addressed that a couple times. I don't know if Evan has on his channel or Alex. So just giving you guys a heads up. So, but alrighty. I think that would be cool. So we'll have that figured out. But yeah. Anything else? Anybody want to touch on anything more?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we'll save. We had a couple of more news stories, but we'll save those because we never know how scarce they're going to be. So we have one in our back pocket for Orphan. So that should be interesting at some point down the line.
Absolutely. Heck yeah. Oh, and I did want to say, I'm going to make a post about this earlier, but I did tell them I would do this. I had an opportunity on Saturday. This was kind of fun. I should have said this at the opening. To go see the new SpongeBob movie with Atticus and my wife. We went on Saturday to go see it up at the Great Lakes Mall. So we went up there, saw that, and I gotta say, it is not the SpongeBob I grew up with. The animation's very different. The tone's a little different. They're almost like, it seems like they're kind of changing things, like they're kind of changing
He's not
established lore. He certainly is a sponge.
Does he live in a pineapple under the sea?
Only thing I'll say is it centers around the Flying Dutchman, and they're introducing him like a character that SpongeBob has no clue who he is, and I'm so confused by that. There's a lot of stuff like that where it's like characters don't know each other, but I have to. Not really. I don't know where it falls. It's strange, but like I have to admit, it is one of those things where this is no longer a franchise for me. This is for my son. This is for kids his age. And Atticus would have given it all a must see. So if that is all you need to hear from me is my son loves it. If your kids are SpongeBob fans, if you're a SpongeBob fan, go check it out. Sounds confusing.
How the Krabby Patties look in that?
The Krabby Patties were gorgeous.
Appetizing.
Yeah. It just it is. You know what I will say was great actually. They have a little short at the beginning of this one. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it's a really great little short. They did like a little animation, like a 6-minute like animation movie short Christmas thing for the TMNT stuff, and that was super funny. They do like a big play on AI and like stealing the turtles likeness and like making like a knockoff brand of action figures, and they go to confront the people who did it. It's pretty funny. So, but I can say I thought that it was different. It wasn't terrible. I did enjoy it, but yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it's like it's for a different group now. It's for a different group of kids, and I'm happy. I'm just happy that SpongeBob gets to continue on. So call me a shill, call me sappy. There you go. Looked at me like I was stupid, so I just assume kids don't watch it. I can attest my 3-year-old loves SpongeBob. Has Ella seen SpongeBob yet, Luke?
She is not. No, I
Okay.
think that'll be one thing. I completely forgot about SpongeBob in terms of when I'm showing her things to watch, so that'll be on the list. I'm gonna show her the one. What's the one where doesn't he get stuck in the cartoon where he gets stuck in Sandy's little bowl there, and he's like
Yep,
all
the
dried out.
water.
He starts
I
drying
need
out.
it.
I
Yeah.
love that one.
I need it. And then they have the one where Sandy's hibernating.
Oh yeah,
So it's like, and she's like evil. She's a monster. Yeah, so that's all I had to say about that. I was supposed to bring that up, but like, yeah, just a little aside there, just something from the studio. Thank you for letting us come see the movie early. It was a good time. My kid loved it. If you guys are looking for something to take the kids to pass the time this holiday weekend, SpongeBob was not a bad time for me. But like I said, it's just different. Just doing some different things, being a little different. There's shades of the original SpongeBob there, but it's definitely it's moving on to a different demographic. So can't complain. As long as my son liked it, that's all that mattered. So
there you go.
and I think your kids will as well. So, but alrighty, guys, that's gonna wrap it up here. I think very, very strange episode. We'll keep an eye on the on that. I mean, between the technical difficulties, Rob Reiner, this has just been a very odd episode. So thank you for bearing with us. We got through it. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yep, tea at the Tree Dome. That's what it was called. Yeah, I love it. But yeah, that's everything we got, guys. So thank you. We will be back here again. Like I said, I will post about the live stream no later than Tuesday. So keep an eye on that, and I'll put stuff in the Discord. I'll even put stuff on Patreon just so make sure all platforms are known, and I'll try to force all these guys to post about it as well. So alrighty. Well, until next time, I'm Dylan Newell.
And I'm Luke Janesco.
And Adrian.
And remember, stay scared.
Do the hard shit, gonna do it live. Cause Splattercast kick it every day they live. Splattercast, gonna smash your ass. 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 Splattercast, gonna smash your ass.